Welcome back, episode number 43, No Cap Sports Podcast, man, coming back to you live and with another one. We're going to name this one the Bubba Wallace episode. Shout out to the man, bro. And so, Josh, go and get it started out with that fire, man. I know you got something special.
Bubba Wallace?
Yeah.
What about Darren Sproles, bro?
How does Bubba Wallace have a number?
You know, NASCAR racers, they got the number on the side of their car, bro.
Oh.
His car got that 43 on it, so.
Yeah, but respect to him. Shout out to Darren Sproles.
Hold on. What's that on your wristbands? Hold on, bro. You quit playing with them. Flashing.
Bro, it's a watch, bro. You know, Caribbean Joe. Nothing special, bro. You know.
Severely underwhelmed. But if y'all know, the Grammys was on a couple days ago. The Grammys have been oft criticized for, contemporary, hatred, racism, things like that. Personally, I just think that they had the wrong people picking it. It could be a good institution with the right academy, whatever that they call it. So I'm going to go through and ask y'all these categories, ask simple questions, and I'm going to see the answer that I get and compare it to who won. Okay, record of the year. So what's the best record you heard this year?
I'm going to go with, first thing that came to my mind was either Roddy Ricch or Pop Smoke. Roddy Ricch, The Box, or really any song from that album. What's it called? Sorry for being antisocial or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, I'm gonna say The Box. Just gonna eat. That thing was catchy, bro. That's the best song of 2020.
You actually named the nominee bands.
My 2020 record of the year, I'd have to say "Clouded" by Brent Faiyaz. It's my record.
Bro, you wanna know what's funny? I was just about to say that.
For real?
I was just like, yeah. So yeah.
If y'all had to name a new artist that came out, I guess in 2020, what would be the best new artist?
Rod Wave, was he 2020? I don't know. Just give you one.
I'm gonna say Pooh Shiesty, best new artist 2020.
You think he the best out of 1017?
Yeah, he the most popular.
Okay.
Well, Megan Thee Stallion won, and the nominees included Doja Cat and D Smoke. So,
no, she not even new. She like 2018.
Yeah, she got famous from being a cow. So it's just like, just again. I'm just preparing your answers to what the Academy thought. Best R&B song that you heard this year.
Is it Janae Aiko or Brent Faiyaz? One of them two. A song from one of their albums. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, none of your concern. Or Triggered.
I'm gonna go Summer Walker route. I'm gonna say White Tea.
But the award went to Black Parade. So I don't.
Who is that?
Beyonce.
Never heard that song.
Me
neither.
I don't think none of us are really the Beyonce demographic per se, so I'm not really surprised at that. Some of these categories are like oddly, like there's apparently a difference between a record and a song. Don't even know what that is. But to go back, Billie Eilish won record of the year. Do you know y'all listen to Billie Eilish?
No.
Makes sense. Best rap album. There's a lot of stuff on here.
Lil Uzi, Eternal Take.
I like that take. Vance?
Yeah.
You know I'm gonna go with, bro. I'm gonna have to go with Pop Smoke, bro. R.I.P.
Album of the year? Pop Smoke?
Oh no. I take that back. So Icy Game. Volume 1.
Ooh.
That wasn't an album, boy.
Yes, it was.
Album of the year?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
End Zone, Some Zone,
one.
Blow It.
No.
So Icy Boys 2. Come on, bro.
That was
who you said one, Josh?
Nas, Black Disease. Yeah. So
He dropped the album.
Apparently, brother. Apparently.
Well, I will say this. Out of the albums listed, Freddie Gibbs Alfredo should have won. Because that album is so hard.
I like Freddie Gibbs' style. I don't really like a lot of the nominees per se, but I guess they're making a strong differentiation between hip hop and rap. So what do you think about some of the award winners? Because I know y'all didn't watch it because y'all already told me. But so what do y'all think about some of the winners versus what you would have expected, what y'all said?
Song of the year going to Savage. Never would have expected that. It was just I had a lot of questions, bro. I've never been a fan of the Grammys. I don't watch the Grammys. But every year I see the nominations and what wins, and I'm just like, this isn't a voice of the people. So
Yeah, I mean Taylor Swift fans go hard for her, like MJ fans go hard for him, bro. So like, I just wonder who's the committee to vote on who gets nominated.
I mean, like I said right before we started, I feel like we could put a new cast on the academy. It would give it just a fresh outlook. Because I mean, it's not music is not different. It's just I say that the lens and standard that the academies are viewing it through is old and honestly worn out. Are we giving out awards? Or are we paying homage? That's my question.
all right, boys, all you got to do is look at the calendar. It's the month of March, and we know what that means, man. The NCAA tournament is back. We didn't get a chance to experience it last year due to COVID and things like that. So, how do y'all feel knowing that the tournament is back, man?
Honestly, I remember like sneaking and watching games on my laptop in high school. That's always something I enjoyed. You know, hypothetically betting on brackets and whatnot, things of that for monetary gain, which I don't do. But it just always bring out the not camaraderie, but just this is the reason. This is the reason why people enjoy college sports versus professional. I guess they say the amateurism or the school spirit, whatever. It's a word to put on it, but the non-professionalism of this tournament. So, but I'm gonna be interested to see what it look like being all in one spot this year, though.
This is gonna be one of the few times where I actually get to watch every single game. Like I haven't been able to do that since like spring break of high school. So like I'm pretty excited just to sit back, be at work, watch the games. So we're gonna see how it's popping, bro. I don't really have that many upsets, but I do have some teams that are lower seeds going pretty far in the tournament.
One of the most exciting things about March Madness is, of course, those Cinderella stories, those teams who are, seeded very highly, the 13s, the 14s. For example, like UMBC, the 18 seed that played Virginia, the number 1 seed, and beat them in the round of 64. So, like I said, those Cinderella teams are always exciting. Do you guys see any Cinderella teams in this year's field who you think can do some damage?
The fact that you got 2 traditional blue buds in the 11th seed at Michigan State in the playing game, Michigan State and UCLA, Syracuse again seems to get in for the third, fourth year in a row when they appeared to be outside the bubble on conference championships a weekend. Then they got something with committee because I remember them specifically, even a year when they made it to the Elite Eight with Malachi Richardson, they were like 10, 11 seeds. So Syracuse hasn't been really. I know Blue Bloods in general, I guess, tend to be more favorable to the committee, but that's multiple years in a row.
So, Vance, what Cinderellas do you see in the field this year?
Okay, so just in my C16, I just made this bracket actually right before we started the podcast. So in the C16 seeds that's higher than a 4 seed, which is 5 through 16, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams, bro. So in my C16 teams that's 5 seeds or higher, I have LSU at an 8 seed in a Sweet 16. I have Villanova as a 5 seed in my Sweet 16. Texas Tech with Mac McClung, they're a 6 seed. I got them
this year.
Thanks, bro. I think they're going to test already. And then my last season high is Loyola Chicago, bro. They've been on a few years ago, a Ken Palm top 10 team, and so I think they're ready to make another run.
I actually like your LSU pick, Vance. I was going to take it. Javonte Smart, Trent Wofford. They're one of the most talented teams that can be perhaps a Cinderella since they're a 9. Yeah, they can score the ball. They don't really defend, but they have 3 guys that could be on the NBA roster next year. You got Cam Thomas, Oak Hill's all-time leading scorer. Kind of like a better version of Alonzo Trier to me, honestly. Trent Wofford is like a double-double machine now, apparently. I didn't even realize until SEC semifinal. And Javonte Smart, he was really good in high school, a 4-star, 5-star guy. And now he can just kind of really lead. But they have a good group. So I think ultimately talent kind of wins out. Teams can kind of, especially in basketball, it's easy to coast through the regular season, turn it up when it's necessary. So, yeah. And then UNT, Javon Hamlet, Memphis guy, beat Western Kentucky in the conference championship. I think WKU, they probably would have been a little higher than North Texas considering their record, and they were the 1 seed going in. But guard play. You know, all it takes is you to have one stretch of 23 points a game, shooting 44% from the field, and all of a sudden you're in the Sweet 16. So I think Jay Hamlin can do something like that, and it'll be pretty dangerous.
I like your Cinderellas, but especially Loyola Chicago. What's her name? Sister Jean coming back to the tournament, man. I mean, she was a big story when they went to the Final Four, bro. But for me, bro,
she about to be looking like Prince William.
hey, that man's evil. That
man is on the edge.
Yeah, man. But for me, when I think about Cinderella teams, bro, one thing I always look for in a Cinderella is a team that can put points up. And a team that can put points up, I think, is Liberty, bro. They're 15-1 their last 16. They're top 20 in 3-point attempts percentage, over 47% of their shots that they put up are threes, and they're top 10 in accuracy. They shoot 39% from three. So that's a team I think if they can get hot in terms of shooting the ball, they can make a deep run in the tournament just by running and gunning, putting threes up, and that's going to allow them to score with any big school. And so, of course, there are Cinderellas. There are teams that have to get upset. So when you're looking at your brackets, what are some highly ranked teams that you have and think will likely get upset, in this year's tournament?
I'm gonna go. I think the first obvious candidate is Virginia. With the quarantine lockdown they'll have. Ohio, being not a. I mean, they've been in the NCAA as a conference champion pretty consistently for the past 5 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I think they have a pretty good guard this year, and I always think that guard play dominates bracket round robin, not round robin, but tournament situations because it's easy to not easy, but shooting abnormally well during this time can greatly influence you and can make your season look like something that it hasn't, especially for people that playing teams that that aren't conference foes. I hate to be a homer, but Houston really doesn't look like a top 3 seed to me, honestly. I know Grimes is a AP All-American, but personally, I feel like he left Kansas for a reason. He wasn't able to hack it at, a blue blood like that. And they're just not, who's his second? Like, really? They dominated Memphis on offensive boards, and,
that's really where they built their team at.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just said, guard play. I just think that they're not gonna have enough offensive punch to really make it past like the Sweet 16.
It's very ugly. Yeah, I agree with you, bro. They not even that good, bro. Like Memphis should have beat them 2 times in a row. Memphis not that good for losing to them 2 times in a row.
What about you, Vance? Who's on your upset?
In the second round, believe it or not, I have Loyola Chicago beating Illinois in a close game. I think that's going to be the game of the year. But just in the first round, I got 2 upsets. I got a 12 seed beating a 5 and a 14 seed beating a 3. So the 12 seed beating a 5, I got Winthrop beating Villanova. Villanova, they lost their best guard, Colin Gillespie. He was averaging 14 points per game before he had a season-ending knee injury. And then Winthrop, they're 23-1. Only 1 loss on the season, bro. On average, they're winning every game by 13 points. They're looking real. They haven't played a top 25 opponent, but I think when you go 23-1, I think that puts you above and beyond the competition that you're playing. So I think they're on the level, and they're ready to compete with Villanova. So I got them beating Villanova. And the 3 seed I have leading is Texas. Just watching it, they're playing Abilene Christian, bro. Mm-hmm. So just watching it, Texas has exactly what you need to go deep into a tournament. Good guard play. But the thing is, can they play as a team and put it all together? They've been up and down all year, and they have one common opponent, and that's against Texas Tech. Texas went 1-2 against Texas Tech. Abilene Christian lost to Texas Tech by 7 points. So I think that's a good measuring stick about where they are going into this game. I think it's going to be the game of the year. I think it's going to be pretty close. I for some reason, I'm going to pick Abilene Christian.
Yeah, I like that. And so I just had one big upset, a number 1 seed, and I think Michigan is going to fall in the second round to LSU. I'm looking at a Michigan team headed by a big man. I'm just never been a fan of big men-led teams in the tournament. You think about all those old Wisconsin teams with Frank Kaminsky. Think about that Duke team when they had Vernon Carey and things like that. So they have a lot of problems, I think, And one of them will be that they will be potentially missing Isaiah Livers, one of the best guards on that team. He went out in the Big Ten tournament with a foot injury. We'll have to see how that injury progresses. But, missing out on a big-time guard when your team is headed by a big man, Hunter Dickinson, is going to be a big blow to that Michigan team. And so you look at them, they've got a 23-point loss at home to Illinois. They got blown out by Minnesota. I think this is a team that once they fall in that hole, it's hard for them to get out of because of their dominance and big man play. And like y'all said, LSU has all of those talented scorers, and I think it's going to be difficult for Michigan to kind of keep up to pace with those guys in that game. And so to close this segment out, man, I just want to talk. Let's talk big picture. Who do you guys think wins this year's tournament?
I got Gonzaga and Illinois in the championship game. A lot of people talk about Gonzaga as they're not going. They're in the West Coast Conference. They're not really competing, but Jalen Suggs, top 5 NBA guy, Corey Crisper, first team AP All-American, Drew Timme, third team AP All-American. Jalen Suggs made him All-American team himself. Andrew Nembhard. This is a team with the most talented team in the league, in the nation right now. You got NBA guys all over the roster. You got quality backups. So, I think this is Mark Few's. I think it's the best squad. So, I think that they'll be I think they'll take it. I really like OU Dosunmu and Kofi Cockburn. Especially how they ran through the Big Ten. That was pretty impressive. I like OU a lot. I think he's a little undervalued in terms of NBA projections. But, Jalen Suggs is my guy. I think he'll probably be the most important player, MIP, of the Final Four, something like that. Whatever it is, he has it. He's just – you can see it on the court. It translates – the intangibles translate visually. I've never really seen a guy, with that attitude and mentality translate so efficiently in the game. So, yeah, I think that he – with a good performance, if Gonzaga wins it, I think he can creep up into that top 3, honestly. So, that's what I'll be looking for more than anything.
Well, I would pump your brakes on Gonzaga. I've never been a big fan of Gonzaga when it comes to a tournament, and especially not in a year where there was limited non-conference play. You look at Gonzaga, this is a team that got pushed by BYU. BYU took a 12-point lead on them going into halftime. And I think this is a team that, yes, they came back and won that game. Yes, they're undefeated right now. Yes, they have a lot of talent on that team, but they also have a lot of young talent. You look at Jalen Suggs, arguably their best player on that team. He's a freshman. And, coming to the tournament for your first time is a different experience. And I just think that Gonzaga team, they haven't really been pushed yet. So I think in the later rounds, they could be pushed by teams such as Virginia if they make it, the way they play defense. And teams like that in that, portion of the bracket, those blue blood teams, I think they have a chance to give a Gonzaga a run for their money. But I will say I like your pick of Illinois. That's my pick to win the whole tournament. I like the inside-outside combo they have with Ayo Dosunmu and Kofi Cockburn. You look at Kofi Cockburn, a guy who's shooting 66% inside of the paint. He's just a dominant force in that paint. And you already spoke on Ayo. There's little that has to be said. Dominant player, 20-point per game guy. And they also have solid contribution from young guys and reserve players. You look at Andre Curbelo. He's on a hot streak. He's averaging 15.7 points in his last 4 games. And I think this team, even though they haven't been to a title game since 2005, I think this is the year they get it done, man.
No, because this is how I feel about it. Give me the best guard in the tournament, and I don't see it.
The best guard in the tournament is Cade Cunningham.
I'm about to say I mean, guard is such a word that has such a definition now. I would put him more in the. Is he a guard? Is 6'8" still a guard? Like, can he be a guard?
Yeah, bro. He can be anything he want to be. But Nick, your thing about Gonzaga getting tested, Gonzaga, they're not going to get tested at all. In the round of 32, Missouri, which it might be because Missouri has some good wins. They beat Illinois already, and they've already beaten Alabama. But other than that, they got to play Virginia, who they've already beaten. They got to play Kansas, who they've already beaten. And then once they get to the Final Four, they got to play Alabama, which I think they match up very well with. Well, I think that's going to be a good game, but I just got Gonzaga going to the Natty, bro. They're going to win it all. But the part I don't agree with you with is Illinois. So I think that's just a sexy pick. Everybody's thinking Gonzaga versus Illinois. That's consensus. But I got Illinois just lose. But I just feel like they're gonna steal somewhere. I don't know why. I mean, the Cody pick was live by what's his name, Dosunmu. sumo wrestler, whatever his name is. But anyways, bro, I just think give me Oklahoma State, bro. Oklahoma State versus Gonzaga. I think the Zags win by double digits like they have all season.
Actually, can I make a last minute audible?
You got it.
Thank you. I keep harping on guard play. I just think it's especially important in this environment, just because I said, especially with the proven track record, how guys how their percentages went up in the bubble. I think guard play and 3-point shooter would be exponentially more important to this tournament than it probably ever has been. That being said, Baylor has two player of the year candidates. Davion Mitchell was Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year at 6'1". That's interesting, always. And Jared Butler was an AP All-American guy, and he came from Auburn. So I think that those two can be better than Desumu's 1.5. And then, I mean, I really do like Hawkburn's game, but he's a guy that can lend himself to foul trouble, and he's not really effective outside of 8 feet. So I think he'll probably be protecting the paint. I mean, it'll probably be, but I just feel like it'll be so easy for him to pick up 2 fouls in less than 10 minutes, and he'll just be sitting down. So I don't really know a lot about Ohio State in general, but I will probably pick those two to meet up in the Final Four. If they do, I got Baylor.
So moving on, now we got to talk about the NBA. We've passed the halfway point in the season, and so it's time to take a look at the NBA and see who's your NBA MVP right now.
I think that I said I was going to switch over before the podcast, but 30-13, 30-15, whatever Embiid's throwing up nightly, man, evolutionary Hakeem. I mean, it's one thing to be said when you're literally drafted, the one guy drafted ahead of the best basketball player ever, and you can't even be upset, even in a league where big men are supposedly going out of style, just the way he's dominating on both ends of the court, only thing that's taking him out is COVID. And he has Philadelphia in first place.
And the injury, by the way, I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, I mean, but big guys, the injuries, the only thing that I am hoping for is that we can get a good postseason out of him. Because I think that before the All-Star break, he was probably in the best shape of his life, playing the best basketball of his life. So I don't want to see that in the playoffs. I don't want to see him crying on a meme. But like I said, he's got Philadelphia in first place. And, I mean, Ben Simmons is apparently Defensive Player of the Year now. But he still can't shoot. And a lot of the pieces there really still don't make that much sense. But I think 2 years ago, I think it was a debate in Simmons Embiid, which one we trade. I think now that Embiid has firmly established himself as that cornerstone and that Ben Simmons the expendable piece, honestly. So, yeah, I think that they were literally this close to beating Toronto, who won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's still there. So give it to Embiid. That's how I do. However many games right now, I would pick Embiid.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hop in right now, and I'm gonna say, being injured hurts Joel Embiid's MVP chances. You see, he hyperextended his knee. They don't really know exactly what it is, but he's gonna miss some time. He has no structural damage, but he's gonna miss some time with that knee injury. And so when he was injured, of course, the 76ers number 1 seed in the East. But I think if a Brooklyn team led by James Harden right now comes back and catches Philadelphia and takes over the number 1 seed, I think you have to give James Harden the MVP. Just listen to his stat line since coming to Brooklyn. Since coming to Brooklyn, he's averaging 25 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds, shooting 48% from the field and 38% from 3. To add on to that, he's put up 10 triple-doubles in 26 games as a net. So I think that James Harden is an important piece to this Brooklyn Nets team. He's really anchored that team while KD has been injured and while Kyrie has been off doing Kyrie things. So I think just looking at James Harden, he's the – yeah, exactly. Looking at James Harden, he's the focal point of that Brooklyn team. And without him, they wouldn't be in the position they're in right now because he really carried them through a stretch with no KD and no Kyrie. A tough thing for any star to do on their own, especially with a depleted roster like Brooklyn had after the trade. And so, one thing that just stood out to me, man, just one game in particular, in that stretch when they were without KD and Kyrie, he brought the Nets back against the Suns, even though they were down by 22 at halftime. And now you got to remember, Suns are one of the top teams in the West, and James Harden single-handedly put the team on his back that night and led them to victory. And I think that's just one of the many examples as to why James Harden is this year's MVP.
I like both of y'all's picks. If either one of them won the MVP, I wouldn't be mad. But for the sake of argument, I'm gonna go with somebody different. And it's actually not gonna be the guy I think I'm gonna pick. It's not gonna be LeBron. It's gonna be Jimmy Butler, bro. And I'm gonna say it just for this fact. Listen, hear me out, bro. He's the most valuable player to his team, besides LeBron. Yeah, I can look like that, but before he came back, they was in the bottom half of the Eastern Conference. They was in 13th place, and right now they're in 4th place. They creeping up on Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Philly. So they're in line to get a home court advantage in the first round. You can look at me like that, bro. I'm just telling you, Jimmy Butler's back there on a 4-game winning streak, and they climbing. They was below 500, not in the playoffs. He's actually 21, 87. His impact on the team is what makes him the most valuable. I think the Nets will still be okay without Harden. You know, they'll still be above 500 without Harden right now. I think Philly would be above 500 without Embiid right now. But we saw what happened when Miami did not have Jimmy Butler. So just give me Jimmy Butler for the sake of argument.
All right, well, I'm going to throw that back at you. You roll a roster out there with Landry Shamet, Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, KD and Kyrie are out. And Brooklyn is at the bottom of the playoff picture in the East. Just like you made the argument about Jimmy Butler being valuable to his team and bringing them back into the playoffs, without James Harden, the Brooklyn Nets wouldn't be in the playoff picture right now.
Bro, they just did their last season in the bubble. They played without Kyrie.
Yeah, but
without KD.
But this is a Brooklyn team with no Karis LeVert, no Jared Allen. They got rid of those guys. They really gutted the roster in order to bring James Harden along. So that's why I'm saying James Harden has a similar effect to his team that Jimmy Butler has, and he makes it look better than Jimmy Butler because he actually gets chopped.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But you want to know why? It's not because of the Nets roster. It's because of the Rockets roster. They the worst team in the West. They might be worse than the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. And that's all because Harden left them.
Exactly.
I feel the Celtics with the Allen, Garnett, Pierce, that team really started the super teams. So has any of the super team like the Heat or any of the Warriors, have any of those guys won a regular season MVP off the top of y'all's head?
Braun won one
KD.
in Miami. Yeah, KD won in Golden State.
KD won one. Okay. Yeah, he won an OKC too, if you want to consider that a super team.
But I think this is probably the most dynamic offensive team we've ever seen. And I really can't feel like, you definitely can, and I understand what you're saying, Nick. But I just feel like as soon as Harden forced his way to Brooklyn, he was just like, at least for this year, like MVP race done. The slim fast weight drop, that was drastic. The lack of production in Houston basically just giving him on the team for a little stretch.
Hold on.
What?
He was still putting up 20. No, he was still putting up 26 and 9.
No.
He was still putting up 26 and 9, and that's no cap. I'll tell you exactly right now. Because James Harden was still hooping while he was in Houston. When he was in Houston, he was putting up 24 and 10, bro. 24 points, 10 assists, and he was still shooting 44% from the field, bro. So he was still getting the job done.
You were watching the games, and he looked like he was definitely 75% James Harden at the most.
Okay, but he still led them to what? Well, he only played 8 games there, and he's
500 battle.
Exactly.
I think.
Give me Jimmy Butler.
He definitely had to do the most adjusting to make that team work, but it's not like he just had nothing to work with.
Bro, you want to know who else is a dark horse? If his team can keep it up, it's not gonna happen. But this is truly a dark horse. Julius Randle. Because he's reviving the Knicks.
Horse. Boy, that's a Bernie Mac black horse.
Yeah, bro. He the Zion Williamson of the East. Never mind. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that to Zion. But anyways, bro, I just like the way he's reviving the New York Knicks. You know, the last time the Knicks was relevant, I was in high school. Like Carmelo and JR was sipping Henny in the locker room, bro. Jeremy Lin was still in the league, bro. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. You bring the Knicks back, bro, you deserve some MVP consideration, bro. Now shifting gears to the NFL. Sad news in the NFL this week is Drew Brees decided to hang him up,
Yeah,
man.
sad for some.
So let's start this thing off, bro. Van said he has a special Drew Brees memory he wants to share with everybody.
So just thinking about Drew Brees, you know, a great career. I can't lie. I mean, the stats don't lie, bro. Well, he's second all time in touchdowns. I think third all time in pass yards. He's been with the Saints since when 2003.
Since
My favorite
2005.
memory of Drew Brees is him 2005. My favorite of Drew Brees is him choking every single season in the past couple of years, bro. Just the Rams should have just ran the ball. Who throws the ball? Bro, this is not Madden. When you play with money on the line, what do? You run the ball. You cheat to get your money, go home. Should have hit it. Next moment, they played the Vikings the year before. Hail Mary. Choke job. They played the Vikings the next year after that also, right?
Kyle Rudolph.
After they played them. Kyle Rudolph, mall session, choke job. Last year they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they had already beat 2 times in a row. Destroyed them, actually. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Choke job. Tom Brady came through. He did what he do. And then it's just like, bro, when I went to Middlesex College, bro. And at Middlesex College, 50% of the school is Saints fans. So as Saints fans, they talk the most smack out of any fan, but it's not even close, bro. And if you ask anybody outside of New Orleans or Saints fans who's the top 3 quarterback of all time, nobody's gonna say Drew Brees. Let's be honest. Nobody's gonna say Drew Brees. Only a Saints fan. So it just feels good to watch them choke every single year.
Yeah. All right. So he spent 15 seasons as a Saint, compiled a 142-86 record as a starter for the Saints. And so, looking at him, he's accomplished a lot in his career. He's the first 80,000-yard passer in league history. So he's the, all-time leader in passing yards. He held the passing touchdown record at 540 before, Tom Brady came and said, let me get that. And so he finished his career with 571 touchdown passes, second in NFL history. He's put up 5 seasons of 5,000 yards. Everybody else in NFL history has only combined for 7 such seasons. He holds the NFL record for 54 straight games with a passing touchdown, 7-time leader in passing yards, and he's second in career completion percentage behind Deshaun Watson. So after hearing all of this, man, where do y'all see Drew Brees falling in the record books? Well, after hearing all this, where do y'all see Drew Brees in terms of greatest quarterbacks of all time?
Top 10. I give top 10. He's not top 5. If you had a quarterback draft and you knew everybody's talents, bro, that's ever played, you would draft Drew Brees top 5?
No, not at all.
Yeah, bro, maybe top 10. The age, he was nice. Don't get me wrong. He's top 10. I'd give him top 10, but he's not top 5 talent.
Hey,
I'm gonna agree with that.
I like Drew Brees a lot. I feel like, guy was left for dead in San Diego and basically made a career in New Orleans. I remember the Saints really sucked before Drew Brees got there. Kind of revitalized the whole city and the organization. But and only beat Peyton Manning head-to-head in the Super Bowl as well. But this is how you feel. This is your prerogative, brother. Personally, I feel like there's not 4 quarterbacks that you can name better than Drew Brees ever. But forget 5.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers. I would give him over Michael Vick, but that's only I can name it up. Ben Roethlisberger is better than Drew Brees.
Nah, I would put I put Brett Favre and Mahomes over Drew Brees though.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Mahomes already got his resume.
Drew Brees really did a lot of the Brett Favre stuff without the interceptions. It didn't look as nice, but he really did a lot of the same things in terms of being able to, not outside the pocket.
Bro, Pat Mahomes has
he was way
his
more accurate than Brett Favre. And he did not
Pat Mahomes has his resume.
I don't know. But Brett Favre has some good receivers in Green Bay. And the best that Drew Brees got was Marquise Colston.
He also had a lot of years with Jimmy Graham. He's got Michael Thomas now, who set the NFL record for receptions in a single season.
Dan Marino's better than Drew Brees.
Like I said, but Drew Brees falls inside my top 10, but he's on the back half of that top 10 for me.
Fact.
And so now, kind of shifting gears, where do the Saints go from here as they look for a new quarterback after having Drew Brees as a starter for 15 years?
I trust James. You know, he can't do any worse than what Drew Brees been doing the last 5 years. Now, if you want to go try to win a Super Bowl, you might have to make that trade for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. I think that's the only way they can take the next step to be a Super Bowl contender. I don't think James might can turn them into Super Bowl contenders because he has a stronger arm than Drew Brees, which is what they needed last season, but we'll see.
Yeah, and that's what I said too. You know, they signed Winston to a 1-year, $12 million deal yesterday. You know, got that deal done. And I think he possesses a lot of what Drew Brees didn't have, and that's that ability to stretch the ball downfield. And that's something that New Orleans offense really lacked. You know, you got guys like Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook, Traquan Smith. If you can't hit these guys down the field, we saw it happen in the playoffs. The field gets shrinked on the Saints. You got corners sitting on all the short stuff, safeties in the box supporting the run, and that just really puts a damper on that Saints offense. So I think Winston is a solid option to look at as a quarterback. You also got to remember when Drew Brees was injured this season, Taysom Hill started at quarterback. So he's going to be an option for the Saints too, even though I think Winston is the route the Saints should take because he's more of a pure quarterback. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Saints make a move in free agency, be a trade or the draft to bring in another quarterback to perhaps challenge James or, you know, push him and create some more competition in that room.
I mean, I feel like they just gave Taysom Hill a lot of money, but it just, you know, looking at things logistically, he does play other positions. He does offer. I mean, honestly, his best asset is his legs, not his arm. So I just feel like that's. I mean, Jameis doesn't really do anything else besides throw the ball. It's still crab legs and eat his fingers on occasion. So, but I just feel like Jameis is a number one overall pick. That means that at some point he was talented. Somebody thought that he could be a franchise pillar. I mean, he threw 30 touchdowns in Tampa. Also threw 30 picks or 20 picks?
30.
Yeah, that's a lot. But he's not afraid to push the ball. The arm talent is not a question. I just think that Sean Payton had his work cut out for him.
Continuing to talk about the NFL, free agency just opened up over the weekend, and a lot of moves have been made already. So I want to start out by asking you guys, you know, who are y'all's winners and losers of free agency so far? Starting out with the winners.
Yeah, this is my segment. Yeah, y'all can stay 2 steps back. I'm David Ruff from y'all the others. I want to tentatively say that the New York Jets are winners so far on free agency. You know, it's only day 3, 2, something. It's early in the process, but I want to declare us winners. Would y'all like to know why?
Yeah.
I can tell you. So, you know, the Jets obviously won the worst season in the field, so we have a lot of holes. But it's still good to fill your holes with quality young talent. So I think that's the best thing we're doing, right? I mean, that's the thing that we're doing right now. Carl Lawson, one of the premier young pass rushers, you know, 6 sacks last year with Cincinnati, 8.5 his rookie year. And the numbers actually, you know, the PFF stats and things like that, you know, pass rush and lineman play in general is more about you can see it. The stats don't really quantify the impact, but PFF has done a better job of trying to, you know, put some of that stuff the unquantifiable into quantifiable stats. So pass rush percent, win percentage, things like that. Lawson is always up elite. In the top elite, right under Bosa in a lot of the categories, actually. So, and he's only 26. So to get him for 3 for 45, when really all that Cincinnati did was replace him with, I think, a slow version of him or bulkier version of him, and Trey Henderson, 4 years, $60 million. Done for them, but I'm glad we benefited off somebody. And then Corey Davis, you know, 984 yards for Vance's Tennessee Titans. The face that he gives me doesn't give me a lot of hope for his future with the Yeah, Tennessee definitely declined his Fisher option, but yeah, it's not a receiver on our team better than Corey Davis. So I mean, it ain't that. It's a win.
I mean, while you playing around with, saying the just one free agency, the real winner in free agency so far is in that same division, the New England Patriots. I mean, let's just be honest here. You look at the Patriots and what they've done, starting out in free agency. First of all, they get Cam back. Get Cam back 1 year, up to 14 mil. So starting out, you get Cam back 1 year, 14 million. And then you go out and you surround Cam with receiving talent. And I think that's really, where a lot of the Patriots' victories come at. You go out, you get Nelson Aguilar on a 2-year deal. You get Kendrick Bourne on a 3-year deal. You go out, you get Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith to bolster that tight end room, a room that's been lacking ever since Gronk, left New England. And so, you go get two
Don't
receiving
forget
tight
Aaron
ends.
Hernandez.
Well, I mean, Gronk carried that room for a while, but you're right about that. So now you recreate that two tight end attack with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. You get two solid receivers, that can, play anywhere in that receiver room on the outside in the slot. Aguilar had a bounce back year last year with the Raiders, in my opinion, put up around 800, 900 yards. And Bourne has always been a solid guy to me. I really like the way he plays, creates separation, and, has an impact on the game after he catches the ball. But not only that, the Patriots made improvements on defense too. You got to remember they're getting guys back who opted out last season. So they get Hightower back, they get Chung back. But now they go out in free agency, they get a premier pass rusher in Matthew Judon, a guy who put up 6 sacks for the Ravens last year. And then you also go and get Jalen Mills, a guy who can add to that DB room. And we know what Bill Belichick is able to do with DBs, craft them and make them better. So I think the Patriots are very clear winners in this first wave of free agency.
But I just think personally, like, I feel like you pay two tight ends that haven't made a Pro Bowl yet. You pay them to be kind of the pillars of your offense. I know that you had success with it previously, but I really don't think either one of those guys that you just paid is even as good as Aaron Hernandez. Jonnu Smith kind of he physically, like, he's off the bus All-American. Well, and he did some good stuff in the red zone for the Titans, but down and down production, I'm a little lower on him than some. And then Hunter Henry has a problem staying on the field, and I don't think that that's going to go away going to New England. So I think in theory it looks good. I mean, I'm not going to say that they didn't try to put some ribbons around Cam, but I can definitely see a scenario where they're 26th in pass offense in Week 17.
I will say a lot of that also depends on Cam Newton himself. But by surrounding him with weapons, you don't have that crutch anymore. So we'll just see how everything shakes out in New England. But what were you finna say, Vance?
I was going to agree with you and say New England's a winner, but they gave Jalen Mills a 4-year, $24 million contract, which is stupid. He shouldn't touch an NFL field ever again. But anyways, I have two winners though. The first winner is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their free agents, pending free agents actually, with Chris Godwin franchise tag. Shaq Barrett got paid. Ndamukong Suh's about to come back, and the whole team is coming back. Other winners for Tennessee football Titans, bro. They got rid of all the weak points, particularly on defense. And then the two DBs, Bill Jackson and Malcolm Butler, both got released. I wasn't big fans of how they played. They would let the receiver catch the ball, then just tackle him right after. Play defense in the air, bro. Come on. Then we also let Jadeveon Clowney walk on his 1 year, make it or run another pass rusher chance to show what he can do. I know Dupree's coming off a Achilles injury, bro. I think now athletes are starting to be able to come back and make something shake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. And so now we're going to move on and let's talk about losers in free agency so far. So I'm going to start this one off. My biggest loser is Allen Robinson, man. He just got stuck in a tough situation. A guy who's approaching the age of 30, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with poor quarterback play in Chicago, and he's not able to get that big payday that he wants. Of course, he hasn't signed the franchise tag yet. We'll see how that situation pans out. But if he would have hit the market, bro, I think he would have been the top receiver on the market, and then we got a hefty payday in terms of a long-term contract. So I think he just lost out by getting tagged. But my biggest loser in terms of team is the Philadelphia Eagles. They made no moves so far in free agency besides trading Carson Wentz, which is something they needed to do. And of course, that helped their books up. They got $33 million against the cap by trading Carson Wentz. But I feel like right now the Eagles are getting left behind in the NFC in the NFC East talent race. You look at the moves the Giants are making, bringing in Leonard Williams, bringing in John Ross. Got to add speed to that team. You look at what the Cowboys have done, getting Dak Prescott back and securing, just solid play all around. And then you just take a look at the Washington football team and what they were able to do last season with a very young team. And it's clear to see that the Eagles are getting left behind. So
we got for them. Bottom out 4-12 for them next year.
the Eagles, man, I'd be surprised if they win a game. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts won a championship in 3 games. 4. They play in 17 games, so they would have to go 0-17.
First team to ever do it.
And Andy Dalton is a starting quarterback now, so I'll take whoever. I'll take Hurts over him. So that's.
But Andy Dalton is who's starting quarterback?
The Bears. Come on, brother, you can't be that surprised. Better cut that.
No, I know who you was talking about. I was like, how you bring the Bears up?
All right, so I'm gonna give y'all 2 losers, just like I gave y'all 2 winners. So my first loser, I'm gonna have to go for Seattle Seahawks, bro. It's just the one thing they're supposed to do is get Russell Wilson the O-line. That's all he asked for. He ain't asked for much, bro. Get him an O-line, and they did not do that. Joe Thuney for the New England Patriots, he was on the block. They didn't get him. They didn't pick him up. Then Trent Williams is still out there, haven't picked him up. So Russell Wilson's going to be running for his life once again. The second team that I have as a loser is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is going to be finally the year that Mike Tomlin, he hasn't won a Super Bowl in almost 10 years. Has been.
It was 2010 was the last year he won.
Yeah, so he hasn't won a Super Bowl. The Steelers, that's what they expect to get, Super Bowls. And I think losing Juju Smith-Schuster and Bud Dupree, that's going to be bigger than they think. I think they're gonna go 8-8, 9-7. 9-7 gonna miss the playoffs in the AFC North, bro. You got the Ravens there, the Browns, they still up and coming. The Bengals, as bad as they are, they starting to get things together, bro. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers as my loser.
One I'm gonna throw in there, the Raiders. When you lose your best offensive weapon, your best offensive lineman, and you lose your 2 best offensive linemen, Rodney Hudson and Trent Brown. And no viable way to replace it. No viable means or even looking to replace it. That's pretty bad. And they beat Kansas City. That was a high of their season. But not a lot of highlights besides that game. So hoping they can make a splash in the draft. Mayock's first offseason last year went about as a lot of people predicted, pretty bad. So hopefully him and Gruden can bounce back.
All right, and so that wraps our episode up for this week. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us yet again, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and do what y'all do, and keep supporting, man.
We have a GoFundMe account. It's going to pay for Vance's internet connection. So yeah, y'all, nigga dropped the thing in the link.
We gonna pay for y'all COVID bill, bro.
Hey,
use COVID bill.
Hey, I'm touching them. I'm touching the money regardless of what they think is going to. So hey, click the link. Nick, hit the little link. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just do a little right here for you, and it's gonna be a nice little theme song. So yeah, go get that. Help out a black person in 2021.